Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Ryan with ManaBluff here with another 8-4 Gatecrash draft, and we open Angelic Skirmisher, which is super fun. I've never played with this or against it yet that I can recall. But yeah, 4-4 flying for 6 plus an amazing bonus. So we'll be picking that up. Take a look at the rest of the pack. Arrows of Justice is a removal spell. Couple of serviceable playables. Really nice Dimir card. Just taking a look-see. Definitely happy to snatch this guy up. Try to remember what's in the pack and what might be tabling. And we'll see if we end up going Boros or Orzhov. Of course, the most popular guilds. But maybe we'll see if something's open. So they took the rare out of this pack, doesn't tell us a whole lot. And then the rest of the pack is okay. Do like Aetherize as a card. I'm actually a huge fan of the Balustrade Spy. Even though I know 2-drops are really important in this format, absolutely love it. I'm going to pick it. It might be not quite as good as, say, Shamble Shark, which is great in the Simic build, but I'm just going to kind of hedge my bet and try to, be in colors that I might actually be playing my first pick. If one was more powerful than the other, just in a very strong sense, I wouldn't bother going there. But I'm happy to grab this, try to do the Orzhov thing, and see if we get there. And if not, that's A-okay. But I happen to really like him, and if we do Orzhov, then that'll be really fun. Love this 2-drop here. This is really good in Gruul, and I always forget about this guy. I really need to remember that he exists. Mostly for the Blood Rush ability, because I tend to think that I just don't remember him. So, what signals are we seeing here? Some pretty serviceable things, nothing amazing. Do like Massive Raid. We're kind of not in that direction at all, and it's not super strong to where I want to jump into a red direction. I do actually like Death's Approach. We already have one Balustrade Spy. The 5-drops you have plenty of in either Orzhov or Boros, which is where we're kind of looking at. I'm going to take the Death's Approach because it can be a serviceable removal spell, and I'm not feeling like these are colors to jump into another color with. So we're going to take it and keep looking for signals because I'm not convinced I'm doing anything that I should be doing at the moment. Alright, now we're starting to see a couple of things. I do think Debtor's Pulpit is a good removal spell. Wouldn't mind this guy tabling. This is something that gets to be played in Orzhov, but you tend to be able to pick up the ones you want, and there's better cards. I've yet to see this guy be as amazing as the other Primordials, naturally because it doesnn't have a 2-for-1 in terms of creatures, which is important and limited. But I still feel like I would snap this guy up, although maybe if I was going green, I'd do the Ivy Link Denizen before the 7-drop. It looks like I'm basically forcing Orzhov. If that's the case, would I rather have Executioner Swing? Now I'm going to try Debtor's Pulpit and see if this kind of gets where I want to be in the Orzhov build. No. Okay, so that's really like Grizzly Spectacle. That's awesome. So we're definitely going to be picking it up here with some other removal spells and serviceable drops in this pack. But it's really the only strong signal I see, which is great to know that this late there is a black signal, and we'll see if there's something else that works. Ooh. So here's a pick. Mind Grind I do think just wins you flat out games, and Dimir tends to be underdrafted, so it tends that I can pick this up now and keep, maybe move into the Dimir area. However, I am, like everyone else, partial to the Orzhov build, and I don't know if picking this powerful rare is worth giving up this powerful rare, especially in a more consistent deck. I would love to have this. Like, if Smite wasn't in the pack, I would snatch this up over some of the other, better cards in the deck. And then, I mean, because this is very splashable in Orzhov, but we're just going to take the solid removal spell in the colors we are already in. Okay, get a little worried because we have only 2 creatures in this build. Don't want 20 bazillion Death's Approach. I do think 1 works, especially, I mean, already having 1 Grizzly Spy and Balustrade Spy, we're going to try to be getting a little more out of those colors. I think I'm going to start hedging some bets here. Or am I? I mean, does this guy really do anything? No, I'm going to stick to it. I'm going to take this. This is definitely a signal that blue's good. And again, Dimir is happening in an open sense in this pack. And in the draft, I think Dimir is around. I'm glad to see this. Kind of scared to see this because this card is a very serviceable 4-drop. But we're going to stick to the colors and hope that this Grizzly Spectacle was the signal that I wanted it to be. This will be not amazing, the Orzhov build, but should be good at least in turning things off and, you know, kind of playing this late game, get our flyers out, control Orzhov build that I'm hoping to see here. We'll definitely take the Death Cult Rogue over the Tiger. We do want more 3-drops. This can become important, especially if we just completely abandon white later on. This guy shouldn't be here. Not that he's an amazing, but just as a 2-drop. Would love to see these eventually, but we just want to focus on the low end so we can stay alive. Oh, great. Gutter Skulk. Love it. Exactly what I want to see right now. Don't care about anything else. We can pick these up whenever. We can pick Shield of Passage up whenever we want. Yay for Gutter Skulk and 2-drops. We'll take Mortis Strider. He does have a role in the Orzhov deck. To splash for him. Splash him and just getting such recurrent extort. Mostly I'm taking him in the event that I do end up going Dimir, which isn't necessarily out of the question yet. We're still going to hedge our bets towards Orzhov in the black-white build. Again, taking his horror, which I'm not excited to play, but whatever. It's playable, and if we need it, we need it. Versus clinging enemies, which could work in Dimir. And there's that Shield of Passage I was saying, pretty easy to pick up. Not planning on playing Midnight Recovery. So black seemed pretty open with what was being passed. We just didn't see a lot of Orzhov keys like the what's the flying throw called? Oh my gosh, I'm blanking. But the 2/2 flyer with extort, or any of like the key low end extort guys. Here, don't care about Ooze Flux for our deck. Sun of Magilla made great, but way totally far from what we're doing. I'm actually kind of happy to pick up a Corpse Blockade here. Not that I'm excited to be picking it up as my first pick in the second pack, but it will help slow things down. I do see it as a major roadblock against a number of decks. I could take another Syndicate Enforcer, just have another extort, but I don't think that's going to be the major focus of what my deck's doing, especially this is just probably the weakest extort creature that there is, just because of his stats being a 3/2 and at 4. So we'll take the Corpse Blockade here. Try to stay alive. Oof, that's a good card. So we're kind of looking at just the power of the I'm going to hide Mortis Strider for now. Know that it's there, which is why I'm looking at Bane Alley Broker. I don't like to splash for Bane Alley Broker, because I do want it to be a 3-drop that can kind of like, as an 0/3 block for a little bit and then get its looting going. So instead, I'm just going to focus on the Court Street Denizen. It trades. It can, it's not an amazing 2/2 for 3 in the Orzhov Guild, but it definitely does the job. Clan Defiance is a really strong card. It pains me to pass, but we're just going to play nuts and bolts and focus on getting creatures out there and trust that some of our removal and our bomb here will help us out in late game. Ooh. So I'm getting all excited about the stolen identity, which is very powerful. And if you can get it going, that's fine. And I'm not really excited for this 4-drop, though it's very servable. I'm going to take it and start actively looking for some blue. Ooh, Hellkite Tyrant. People seem to pass this guy up because they feel like he's just not, he's not the splashiest mythic rare you've seen, but the 6/5 for 6 flying trample, forget all the other stuff it does, is amazing. I don't want a second Debtor's Pulpit. That's not going to be doing much. So I'm going to go ahead and pick Hands of Binding over this because there's no way we're going red in this world of possibly moving into Dimir now. So naturally I decided to pick Angelic Edict up after all of this. There's no strong Dimir card here. I mean, Paranoid Delusions works if you're doing the mill thing, like for that Mind Grind, but A, you can have 20 of these in your Dimir deck if you want it, and B, this is just a super strong removal spell, so if we play that control game again, we're fine. Wouldn't mind another 3-drop, but I just don't want 20 bazillion 2/2s for 3 that aren't doing much with this tapping ability, so we'll just take the removal spell. Take another Corpse Blockade. So I'm not exactly stoked on how the draft's going. Definitely am not in an open guild. Orzhov is just being drafted left and right, it would seem, because I haven't gotten any of the Extort guys. Which is a bummer, because I did think black was pretty open in that first pack. Maybe we'll get some rewards later on in the third pack. But I'm looking just to kind of have a nice shell of defense with our black cards, some good removal spells to get there in the late game with a sort of control element to it. Oh, so now I have to really commit to something, because here's Keymaster Rogue again, a good card, works in the Dimir deck, and is a nice 4-drop, but means I'm giving up a lot of powerful white, mostly the Smite, Angelic Edict, and Skirmisher. To go a route I'm not for sure on, and if I am staying in the white build, this Night Watch isn't really something I need in the 5-drop slot. And I need to decide pretty soon what the game plan is. We're going to take Keymaster. I think it is that much more powerful than Night Watch, and I'm not committed to blue yet, especially having picked up this Assault Griffin, which I am going to take. There is the option of taking the Orzhov Key Rune, for sure. It helps ramp into some of these, and if I'm going to be playing Stolen Identity, as one of my 6-drops, that can help me fix mana later. But I do think Assault Griffin is just a great evasive creature, so I'm gonna hang on to that guy. And look, this guy came back. So we're playing the 4-drop game, apparently, which is a little worrisome. I'm gonna take the Dimir Guild Gate here. That's very useful, should we end up trying to get a double blue spell going. Not committed to it, but could happen. We'll just go ahead and cut Dying Wish. Not going to play it. Wow. So yeah, we are definitely not in the correct colors. I could pick up the Shadow Alley Denizen, especially because I just don't have a lot of creatures right now. Because we're going to be cutting that guy. But I think it's just important to get rid of some removal spells in the format. But yeah, Gruul was the open deck that I did not pick up on, so that's a bummer, because I wish I was. I do like our removal suite, so that's pretty cool. These guys aren't amazing unless we have a little bit more incidental mill. Sorry, had to make my My computer nice and fast. But I still think these end up working out pretty well. Most worrisome is I have 1 2-drop, 1 gutter skulk, and that is it. So if that's all I have going on, that could be bad. We'll see how the rest of pack 3 goes. Looks like we're waiting for someone to get connected back in here, which is a bummer. That's like the last thing you want to have happen in a draft, is get disconnected. So let's hold on for a second. Cool, we are back here, and very excited to see a good pack open. We love this other spy, but since we're just so full of 4-drops, we're going to take a very solid 2-drop, the Syndic of Ties. None of these guys down here are working in our current strategy. Fathom Mage, I have seen rec games and at other times just be too slow. I'm curious to see what people think about Fathom Mage. If you have thoughts, leave me a message, let me know. Would love it if this guy tabled, not expecting it, but we're just going to go with a solid 2-drop. And keep trying to build that little hole in the wall. Alright, Sacred Foundry. I'm going to rare draft this. It's kind of a policy I picked up just for value, and it has served me well. Would love another Grizzly Spectacle or this Gutter Skulk, but this will be important in the long run of Magic Online. Woohoo! Yeah, these guys, of course, amazing, but don't mind seeing them go for the Sacred Foundry. Actually, I'll keep it up there. Not planning on splashing red at this point, but it's good to know that I have this. So we'll take another 2-drop here. A little bit, this guy's, the Darian Skyjack is definitely stronger in the Boros build, but I'm happy to have him because he'll trade off early with something, or if need be, like later on when you start taking control, if he comes in later, just having that evasion is pretty sweet. I'm not interested in splashing for either of these, though they are both powerful charms, and they are pretty good. It's just I'd rather have the consistent 2-drop. Like I said, that's the big hole I wanted to fill here. We're going to hide the Hands of Binding. I have it in the back of my head that it's there. Same with Stolen Identity, which I don't think we're going to get to. I don't like playing the risky game of trying to splash a double blue or a double whatever spell outside of colors. Okay. Troll Parasite, though kind of a boring 1/1, with the Extort ability, works. I already have 2 Corpse Blockades. The 5-drop slot is kind of weak, as in with creature. We only have this Horror of the Din and this Dutcher's Pulpit, which is good for removal, but we kind of have enough. And this guy, I think, helps keep you alive pretty well. So I'm not too sure. I feel like for what my deck needs, these are all equal pieces. I kind of just want to prioritize getting Extort going. I'm going to try the Thrall Parasite. I don't think he's amazing. Maybe he'll trade up with a 1 toughness dude later on, or maybe he's just a guy I sacrificed to Corpse Blockade, but I think the Extort makes him powerful enough to play. Very happy to get the Balustrade Spy here. This isn't the one that certainly hasn't tabled yet, even though it might seem like it with another Fathom Mage. It just scares me there's going to be 2 going around in this draft. We're going to pick him up, probably replace one of our Syndic Enforcers. Wouldn't mind a Shadow Slice. Generally, you can pick these up at any point because there's so many. You don't want that many in your deck, but I'm on the lookout for these guys coming around. One, two. Not sure if the Shield of Passage is making the cut yet. Probably want to cut down, if I need to cut down on creatures, one of these Syndic Enforcers. Again, Extort's good, but I like the other 4-drops better. And I would like a strong 5-drop here over Horror of the Dim, which is just mediocre. But we shall see. Alright, pause for another disconnection here, but like I was saying, I was looking for another like powerful drop. I'm not sure if Smog Elemental is the way to go with that. I've seen it do some good things, good sideboard, but I think I'm just going to take another Angelic Edict over it. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Just power out the removal. We're at 23 here with 15 creatures. Curve's a little off, so if we can kind of fill this in and get, move some of these 3 and 5 drops into this area just to stay alive and then have all the 20 bazillion removals we have going, I'm really happy with that. Considering at this point we have what? Oops, let's pay attention here. Yep, here's another Skyjack. Again, just a solid guy that trades very well with all the other early drops. And for what my deck's trying to do, that's perfectly fine. Trade with these guys and then take over with the Death Cult roll, some of the flyers. That works very well with me. So we're going to take him here. Shielded Passage is iffy, may not be something we care about. Though it is nice having a Shielded Passage with some of the Extort, but we're really not doing Extort in this deck at all. I have 2 Extort guys. These 2 are Extort, but are my first to get cut in the 4-drop slot. Gosh, Syndic of Ties this late? That's amazing. And yeah, Gruul was open. Very stoked to see this guy right here. That will do a lot for our deck. So who do I want to cut? I think the Simic Flux Mage. Croconaur is good too. They're kind of in the same deck. There just seemed to be a lot of Gruul that was open. I think someone's doing... so this is just less likely to get picked up. And I think Simic Flux Mage is overall better because of its ability. So we'll cut him. Shade's not something we're doing. I'm not going to play another Dim. But maybe if I do want this as a sideboard, I'll grab it. We're going to cut the Bomber Core. Kind of gets our daring Skyjacks pretty bad. And again, we're just playing late game, so anything to help other decks not be aggressive. Ooh, happy to take the Dutiful Thrallhair. That guy is a welcome addition. We'll take another Shielded Passage. Not going to play it. Another Dim. And there it is. So kind of like what we have, just a very control-y, grindy deck. Use our removal spells to get rid of anything important they have, get our bomb down, and or just any of our basic flyers out. We'll see how that works out for us. Let's do you. Come on. I'm just going to move every single color in here down. And then actually, why don't we pause while I deck build so you don't have to watch all this boring part. Alright, so here we are in deck building, and this is where I've broken it down to. We have 16 creatures. I end up liking much more of how this 2-drop curve worked out, and getting a much more feasible curve for what this format does and how aggressive it is. And then I'm at 23 right now, but here's some of the things I'm considering, either to main deck switch things around or just to keep in mind that I have as sideboard cards. The Shade I really think will never be here. I'm not going to be playing... I mean, I might play this Gate just for the... because I can with this Horror of the Dim, but I feel like I don't necessarily need to have that inconsistent draw just to get this guy hexproof until end of turn. And actually, yeah, I just convinced myself that this Gate's not going to be happening, which pretty much means the Gateway Shade isn't going to happen. Although, if my strategy for this deck is just to hold out, take over, remove people's threats. This does become a late game threat in and of itself. I just think it's not going to do enough. If it was a 2/2 body, then we can go there. But as just a 1/1, it can often be a 3-drop that just gets run over. I don't want a second one of these. I wouldn't mind this Enforcer, but we just have so many 4-drops, and I prefer these Flyers over another Syndicate Enforcer. I like Dutiful Thrall in the Orzhov build, especially with what my strategy is, but I feel if I were to add in the Dutiful Thrall, I don't want to cut any of my 2-drops or my 4s. The 3s are kind of wrong, but still, there's such a lower number, I'm happy to keep these guys around. And then that means I'd have to get rid of a spell here, and I like all my removal spells. I chose to keep Shielded Passage in over the second Death's Approach, namely because I don't want to get stuck with 2 early Death's Approaches. I consider this more of a card like over here. My only incidental mill are these 2 Spies and the Grizzly Spectacle, so I'm not exactly, pounding cards into the graveyard, which means this approach can be not great. I think it'll be fine in my deck 1 copy of, because I'm actually going to be trading fairly early, trying to just get early threats out of the way, use the bigger removal spells for their bombs, same with Detter's Pulpit, so that my way's clear for my Flyers, my Rogue, and my Angelic Skirmisher. So yeah, that's where I'm at, and talking about it, I'm not convinced that I want to bring any of these in. I'm just going to pay attention to know that they are here. So we'll add our land. We're not doing any blue. 1, 2, 3. Let me just double check. I think that's what I want it to be. A little heavier on white than I thought. And there are some pretty early whites, but I have a double black at 3 and double black at 4, whereas the double white is at 6. Yeah, I would keep it 9/8, even though this is 8 is plenty of white to get these on, and they'll be double white by the time we get to the 6-drop slot. So, a little counterintuitive, but I think that's best. Let's go ahead and submit so we can get the tournament going, but I still want to be actively thinking about sideboard options. If I feel like I come up against certain strategies where I need a new plan. If I feel like Death's Approach isn't going to get there in time, like if I just have a really aggressive deck with someone who has just amazing quick starts, and my deck can't handle it, though I think it can. I do like the number of 2-drops we have, and with this Corpse Blockade coming, should be fine. But maybe we'll take out a Death's Approach, bring in the Thrall, just to have a guy to, buy us some time. I can't imagine bringing the Enforcer in at any point, but if it is a really long, drawn-out, stale match, have another, going up from 4 Extort creatures to a 5th Extort creature can really help the grindy games out. So I could see myself bringing him in over, say, like this Court Street Denizen, which won't be doing a whole lot. Anyway, we're about to start, so let me pause for a second, and then we'll start up on the next video for round 1.